This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at dry Lagoon Andalusia. But before that, this video is brought to you by Toten Farmer and Dang Driver. Thank you for being farm barons. So the dry Lagoon Andalusia map can be found over at the FarmingSimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Let me read you some of the description. Welcome to Dry Lagoon Andalusia. This is my first map. I spent many hours creating it. It has 26 fields, grassy areas, 3 logging areas, placed vineyards and olive trees, edited base game grain mill, edited horse enclosure, and placed beehives. Placed on the map is a bakery, carpentry, oil factory, and grape mill. Biogas has been edited. There is a plot with 343 olive trees already planted. Some areas of the map on the farm and in the industrial state have areas for finish decorating to the map to your liking. This map also has 2 required mods. They are the Auto Pallets Manager mod and Olives and Olive Picker mod. With that information, let's go ahead and load on in. Now, in addition to the required mods, we are going to be using the mods we typically use when we look at maps. They are additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, field calculator, precision farming, and straw harvest. I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the main farm is built out exactly how you see it here in new farm mode. In addition, you do have starting machinery in all game modes. The only difference is you do not own the land, and of course your bank balance is higher. Now, with respect to low-end systems, I did not have any issue whatsoever with respect to frame rates in low-end systems on this map. I had a pretty solid 60 frames per second everywhere I looked, including a system that had integrated graphics. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. Now, there are a few kind of distinct areas on this map. We've got a huge kind of dry, marshy or wet, marshy area here. We've got a large forested area here. And then this area is, well, it's kind of interesting. There's a whole lot of trees here, and there's a whole lot of landscaping going on. There's not a whole lot of flat land up here to the north. This area here is the large area with the 300 and so plus planted olive trees. That is the one where you're going to need the olive and the olive tree shaker in order to harvest. We also have a large section of traditional olives here that are base game olives. We have a large section over here of grapes, and another large section here of grapes. This map does have all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 22 on this map, as well as the premium expansion crops if you have that particular DLC enabled. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland screen. We start up owning farmland ID 1, 14, and 30. Now, as I mentioned, farmland 30 is some long, narrow, sloped, or should I say tiered grapes. And I don't know how easy it's going to be to harvest these because of the fact that they are narrow and they are tiered. You're definitely not going to get from one end to the other end without filling up your harvester. Same is going to be said for the grapes in this area and the olives over here. These are very, very long rows. We'll take a closer look at that when we get to the fly around. We do have a biogas plant that is available on this map. It is going to be available right here. It is on the standard unbuyable land. You can buy this land if you want for $376,000, but you do not need to own the land in order to own the BGA. Let's go and take a look at a farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the buyable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any fields, what fields are included, and lastly, how much is this farmland going to cost us. We can compare that with our field calculator screen. This is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. So we have fields ranging from less than 1 hectare all the way up to over 10. Let's take a look and see how the precision farming soil map. We have the standard generic soil map on this particular map. Now we can see the fields to the north of the starting farm are going to be a lot of silty clay and loam. Fields to the southeast of the starting farm are going to be also silty clay and loam. Fields directly south and to the west are going to be a combination of loamy sand and sandy loam. And the fields in the extreme southwest part of the map are going to be loam, sandy loam, and loamy sand. With respect to our base game crop counter, that is indeed what we do have here on this particular map. And if we take a look down through our pricing screen, you will see we do have the ability to sell all of our base game crops available to us in FS22. In addition, we do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk. But I do want to stop here and take a look at our wool. The only place that we can sell wool is at AP Manager V06. This is a area here on the starting farm. And as best as I can tell, this is not a sell point. This is simply a storage loading point for pallets. So I'm not really sure why this is listed here as a buying station particularly. You're going to see through this list, AP managers are going to pop up here and there as far as buying. But the way I understand this particular mod, it is simply for storing pallets easily. It's basically an auto-loading pallet manager. So I'm not really sure why they are showing up as sell points. Now, with respect to our silage, hay, straw, and grass, we do have the ability to sell that. And we do have the ability to sell all of our base game crop products. But again, we have some that are showing up here as AP Manager. Fabric, for example, is under VO2. So I'm not really sure if we should be taking points off for those that are only for sale at an AP Manager or not. I'd like to know what you all think down in the comments below. We're going to err on the side of caution and give the map a full point with regard to the ability to sell that particular stuff. We do have the ability of buying bulk lime, and we also have the ability of selling our stones. Actually, I need to correct myself here. We do not have the ability to buy bulk lime. It's been a long night. We have the ability to sell lime, but we do not have the ability to buy lime. Now, with respect to our farm production pack, we do not have the ability to sell our washed root crops, nor do we have the ability to sell any of the platinum expansion production items without putting our own sell point down. Now, the story changes when we get to our premium expansion production items and crops. We do have the ability to sell those. We also have the ability, if you're playing with pumps and hoses, to sell your separated manure. And those playing with straw harvest do have the ability of getting rid of your hay and straw pellets. We have a modest list of starting equipment. It is all owned. None of it is leased and is all well maintained. We do have a horse area on the main starting farm. We do have contracts available on this map. And we also own, as far as production chains go, 7 different AP managers. And again, the way I understand this is each AP manager is going to accept pallets of goods, different goods, and in turn are going to basically offer to unload or output the same pallet of goods. Now, all of these are set up to basically output 10 to 20% more than they input, which is kind of an interesting aspect here. Where in theory, if you put 10 pallets of bread in, you're going to get 11 pallets of bread out. Then lastly, this map is making use of the 20 collectibles from the Halt by the Room map. So these are the 20 game cartridges. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the Bure 6105 small tractor. We then have the John Deere 7810 medium tractor and the Massey Ferguson 3670. We've got our CH 7.70 harvester from New Holland. We have the ETV 216i electric forklift. This is going to be within our warehouse here at the starting farm. We do have the Mahindra Retriever, as well as the Welger DK115 trailer. We have the 28-foot grain header for our New Holland harvester, as well as the 8-row corn header. We have the POV5 XL plow, as well as the KG 3001 Super Amazon Power Harrow that is paired up with the Cynthia 3000 Super Seeder. And then we have the Penroth SF900 stump grinder, and that is going to be available down kind of at the wet marshland. That is also where our Bure tractor is located. We have a Q5M front loader arms and the universal bucket and bale spike for the front loader. We have the N6030 Nardi header trailer for our grain header and our corn header with the 900 kilogram John Deere front weight. Then we have the olive picker, and this is what we're going to use to basically shake the olives out of the olive trees. They're going to be located right up here in this section, Farmland ID 41. Let's go take a look at our mods and DLCs. While this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements, the olives and olive picker do indeed. So we have the olive picker and the hydraulic oil barrel. Both of those are vehicles or implements or pallets that are a part of the olive and olive picker mod. Then also, if we go in here into build mode under productions and then orchards, we're going to have the placeable olive trees themselves that we can also put down. Right now, we're not able to put those down because I don't think it's the proper planting season. Since we're already in here, let's go ahead and take a look at our ground textures. Fairly standard listing of ground textures and a fairly standard listing of plants. As far as our main starting farm goes, we do have our sleep trigger here at the Hope of the Rune farmhouse. As I mentioned, we do have those collectibles in the game cartridges. And since this is a Hope of the Rune farmhouse, we have our wardrobe trigger here along the side in the garage. And then our collectibles are going to appear here in the garage once again as we collect those. Now the various AP managers that are available to us at the start, well, they're all going to be within this warehouse. And the way this has been set up, we do have fill icons located here at the loading and unloading point. So we've got eggs, honey, and wool available here. Bread, cakes, flour, and seed. Or, sorry, flour and cereal, I guess. And we have 7 of these within this warehouse. Now, we can sell the warehouse. We can also sell these racks, these AP manager racks. But what does not go away are the graphic icons of the fill types. So if you do sell the building, if you do sell these racks, do note that these fill types are going to remain on the map. We do have the ability to basically sell everything here at the starting farm, but there are a few deco items that will remain. We have a methane filling tank. We have an electric charging station as well. We have our base game silo, dump and fill point. We have some heap buildings here where we can dump heaps of product. This is going to be our olive shaker, if anyone hasn't seen that particular mod. Now, with respect to this map being PC only, I really don't know why it's PC only. I've tried to look through the description, I looked through the map itself, and I'm not really picking up why it is PC only. Maybe it's going to be tested and later released for all platforms. So we have bale and pallet storage. We have our beehive. And just so you know, we have another collectible right here at this little church area. Getting back over here, we have our horse area for 14 horses. With our food trough, a little bit of storage. Then we have a huge area here at the starting farm where we can basically customize and do whatever we want with. We have a little bit of a wash area. All we need to do is supply the pressure washer. Up here we have the farm garage. So we have our maintenance trigger located right here. And while it is not explicitly marked out, we do then know that our trigger is going to be within the garage here, basically where the Mahindra is parked. Behind that, we have a grain mill. While we do not own the grain mill at the start, we can buy the grain mill. And this is where we're going to produce our pallets of flour. So we have our dump point here. We have our interactive icon right there. And if we come around the back and go underneath the building, this is where we're going to find our flower pallets. Now, earlier, this did take me a little bit of time to figure out where in the heck the flower pallets spawned at. They do spawn here underneath the mill. And that is pretty much the starting farm location. As I said, we do have a very large area here at the starting farm that we can go and put additional things down. The pre-placed aspect of the starting farm is a lot smaller than the area that we have to kind of expand and do whatever we want with. Now, if we take a look to the south of the farm, we do have a grocery sell point directly below the farm area. Continue to make our way south. We have a biomass heating plant sell point. So this is going to be where we're going to bring our logs and our wood chips to sell. Continuing south, we have this marshy area. And as I mentioned, this is also where we're going to find our Buer and the Penroth stump grinder. They're going to be located here within this barn. Overall, the map is fairly flat with respect to its fields. Now, we're going to see as we kind of get to the north, the map itself is not flat. There are various hills and mountainous areas, but the agriculture aspects of this map are basically on flat ground. I mentioned also earlier that we had these tiered grape areas over here on the side, and this is an area that we do own at the start. Here you can see those and how narrow they are, and pretty much I'm not sure how you're going to be able to unload these with respect to bringing a trailer in here. Maybe you can squeeze it in between the rise and these vines. I don't really know, but you definitely are going to fill up your grape harvester before you get all the way to the end of this run. Just north of field 13, we do have our stone sell point. Over there we have our starting farm. Make our way up the eastern side of the map as we kind of rise up this area here. We have our animal dealer and our animal dealer sell point. This is where we're going to come to pick up our animals. And then we continue to have the icons of the fill types that are available for sale here. So here we're going to be selling our straw, our cut sugar beets, grass, hay, loose straw, our bales, our silage, and our TMR. Coming across the northern part of the map, I mentioned that this was kind of a rather unique area. We've got some flat areas, we've got some raised areas. With respect to the fields, they are all, again, on flat land. Here we have those 300 plus olive trees. These are the ones where you're going to have to come and bring the shaker and shake each individual olive tree to harvest your olives. This will certainly take you a little bit of time. And then a vast majority here of the northwest portion of the map is going to be forestry. Within the forestry, we, interestingly enough, have 2 carpentry shops. One such carpentry shop is located right here, and the other such carpentry shop is located right down the road. Now, with respect to production being built into this map, we have 14 productions, but don't let that number really surprise you or shock you, because we have 2 carpentries. Half of the production built in the map are on your main starting farm in those AP Manager storage facilities. So we have 7 AP managers. We also have a bakery, an oil mill, grape processor, which is located right here. as well as the BGA and the grain mill. So here we have large rows of base game olive trees. And again, getting in here maybe to unload these might be a little bit of a challenge, because you're definitely going to fill up before you get to the end of the rows where these rows were set up, and the same with respect to these grapes. While they are flat, they are still also very, very long, and again, you're going to fill up way before the time you get there. Here we have our oil factory, very conveniently placed close to both the olive trees and these olive rows. We have our BGA located right here. We can buy the BGA without owning the land, but we cannot sell the biogas plant if we wanted to. So we have our dump point for our digester. We have our interactive icon. We have our dump point for our slurry and our fill point for digestate. And we have two 3-sided silage bunkers. Pretty much I was unsuccessful in selling anything at the biogas plant area. And we have our starting farm. North of the starting farm, we do have our vehicle shop, which is going to be located right here. We have our dealer trigger located here on the side of the shop. We have our buy icon here at the front doors. Let's go ahead and pick up our Mahindra. We have a fairly decent area here around front for our vehicles and machinery to spawn in at. We do have a little bit of a narrow area here for our machinery to exit. So that is something we'll need to pay attention to. And around the back of the dealer, well, we have a sell point for what appears to be seed and cotton. Now, with respect to our scoring metrics, like I said, we're going to give the map a full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such. We're also going to give the map, maybe we shouldn't be, a full point with respect to the ability to sell all our base game crops, animal outputs, and production points. Now, given the fact that there are certain base game crops and productions that are only available for sale at the supposed AP manager, which are listed as silos in the build mode, I'm not really sure how well that's going to work out. So quite possibly, maybe we should drop that to a 0.75. We are going to give the map a quarter of a point, or 3/4 of a point, sorry. With respect to the farm being customizable, we do have the ability to sell all of the buildings, but we are lacking the ability to sell some of the deco elements here at the main starting farm, and those fill icons are going to remain. Abilities where appropriate are using the new texturing technique. Overall, these are all Farm Sim 22 base game buildings, so we are going to do the map a full point there, and trigger and interactive areas being clearly marked. I felt like maybe I should take a quarter point off because of the fact that the wool pallet, or not the wool pallets, the flower pallets are kind of hidden in the fact that they spawn under the building here. But overall, I think we're going to be maybe a little bit lenient and gracious with that respect and give the map a full point there. So that's going to give this map a score of either 4.75 or 4.5 out of 5, depending on how you scored with respect to being able to sell your base game crops, animal outputs, and productions. I would like to know down in the comments below, what do you think of this particular map? Do you have any idea why it might be released for PC only, and is this map maybe coming at some point in time to console players? And until next time, happy farming!